batting. What a beautiful setup that is for our next game down in Canterbury, where Lancashire started their 2022 County Championship campaign in sensational fashion with a 10-wicket demolition of Kent at the Spitfire ground. Before I talk about Lancs, though, we have to talk about one player in particular from this game, and you may have heard of him. He's a player by the name of Ben Compton, the name on everybody's lips for this Easter weekend. Now, again, we've done our research here, and we've got some staggering stats from this game, which I'll read out to you now, listeners, because some people may not be familiar with Ben as a cricketer. In terms of this game, Ben Compton scored 104 out in the first innings and 115 in the second. Over the course of these two innings, he spent a combined total of 856 minutes at the crease. That's over 14 hours worth of batting. Now, this is a county championship record, surpassing the previous record, which was held by Hasib Hamid, who took 824 minutes at the crease against Worcestershire at New Road in last year's championship.
We're just about to ask you if it was a record, yeah.
Yep, it was the record. He's now beaten Hasib by 32 minutes. But in addition to this, Compton was the leading run scorer in last year's second 11 competition. He was absolutely outstanding, and he's had a great winter down in Zimbabwe for the Mountaineers. In fact, I think he averaged over 60 in the Logan Cup, if I'm not mistaken. As if that wasn't enough, he has now become the first player in Kent's entire history to score 3 centuries in his first 3 innings for the club. What a record that is. And talking to one final record, you look at his first class average so far, in 12 career games, his average is over 50. I really, really like what I see from Ben Compton. He's not young, he's 28 years of age, but I love the way in which he bats. Really old-fashioned, really gritty. He's got that steel, the drive, the determination, almost like a Dom Sibley or a Dean Elgar or a Tateshwar Pujara, someone who may or may not crop up later on in today's show. Matt, if you could, a few words on Ben Compton. How impressive was he in this encounter?
Really impressive. I think what you have to look at, again, you've mentioned it there, his ability to dig in. Kent was struggling, weren't they? They did struggle. They just spent however long in the field watching Lancashire rack up 506, and it was, it's going to be tough to then come out and keep your concentration and keep your ability and not get sidetracked, and especially when you're facing a bowling attack at the quality of Lancashire, it's really, really tough. So to take that, that ability to carry your bat in the first inning and then to be last man out in the second, it shows a lot about his character. And obviously, I mentioned I don't pretend to be an expert or anything in this kind of thing, but when we were talking earlier about Somerset's sort of fragility, he's the complete polar opposite of that, isn't he? He embodies the opposite of that with his ability to just, block out the noise and just focus on his job. And like you mentioned, 14 hours there is really, really impressive, especially considering the conditions, the attack, and the fact that he just spent however many overs in the field watching his team essentially get pulverised and go out to about 506 runs behind. So it's really good. We saw him at Notts, and you mentioned him in the second 11. He couldn't quite get in that Notts team. It is disappointing. He will probably go down as one that got away, but fair play to him, and it's fantastic to see him doing well.
It most certainly is. I'm absolutely elated for him, and Kent fans, it seems as though you've got a very, very special player on your hands indeed. And talking of another Kent player who I just have to mention from this game, Hamidullah Qadri, a former member of the England under-19s, used to play for Derbyshire, a really good young prospect. He took his first ever career fifer in this game and scored a career best 77 from 177 balls in the second innings. So I thought I'd give Hamidullah Qadri a bit of a shout out. I rate him as a player. I think he's a wonderful cricketer. And hopefully this is the start of many good things to come in a Kent shirt for the young spinner.